On today's episode of Why Did I Buy This? Got a 2012 GMC Acadia. It's an Acadia. No, it's not an Acadia. It's a Terrain, Tom. This is a Terrain. Why did I buy this? I'll tell you why I bought this. Because it's broken, and also because it's beautiful. The inside of this vehicle is immaculate. Look at those seats. Absolutely gorgeous. The body's nice. There's one tiny little blemish that could probably be PDR'd out of the door, but I mean, you guys know me by now. I'm not fixing that. The tires are pretty good. It's got Michelin's all around. Michelin tires are like 80% or better. The one major problem with this vehicle, though, you're about to hear it. I'm going to start it up. It's going to be a little explorations. Check engine light is on. But let's see if audio will pick up on the noise this thing makes. You hear it? It comes and goes. I'm hoping that's timing chains. I'm not sure if that's timing chains or something worse. To me, it sounds like timing chains, and it comes and goes. And so, to me, once it warms up for a second, after a few minutes, the noise goes away. So it sounds like there's an oiling issue in the variable valve timing system, which could be the case. It could be something way, way worse. I'm not sure. The other issue I have, which I'm slightly suspicious of at this point. There are two codes, or two types of codes, I should say. We've got variable valve timing codes, so like your P017, whatever, your camshaft, crankshaft correlation stuff, but there's also fuel pressure codes. I'm not sure where I'm at on fuel pressure, so I'm going to do that next and kind of get an idea of, do I have a pump that's bad, or is it worse? Do I have a camshaft that no longer has the triangular piece on it to pump that pump? Maybe I shouldn't even bother putting the scan tool on it, because I think I'm going to find out as soon as I pull that valve cover off. I think we'll just do that. We'll just pull the valve cover off. We'll go from there. We'll see you in a minute. All right, so I think I've got this one figured out for the most part. I started doing a leak down test, which I always do on these anytime I'm suspicious of potential bent valve. Grab my wrench here. See if you guys can see this. So what's happening is the chain is really sloppy. You can't see it at the moment. You will here in a second. But as I was rolling the engine over, it actually locked up. So the valves are out of time, or were out of time, just enough that I was able to drive this thing in here. But man, it was like one breath away from skipping that final tooth on the chain. I counted like 17, I think, links. I think it's supposed to be like 14. Don't quote me on that. But between the star points for aligning up your marks, I think it's 14, if I remember correctly. But there was like a couple more than that just for my preliminary inspection. And then I started doing a leak down test, down in the hole, pull the plugs out, put air in the system, down each cylinder, and check for leakage. The first one, it passed right away, but the engine rolled just a little bit. So then I went to roll it to the next one, and I heard a chain skip. So next thing I have to do is pull the timing chains down on this. It's a pretty straightforward process on these engines. I should be able to knock this out in like an hour. I should have it torn down. I'm going to have to reset these cams, though. That's one of the issues with the current situation I'm in. I skipped timing. So if I try to... I really don't know what I'm saying. So anyway, definitely have a phaser issue. When I set this one up, when I started rolling around components here, I put a wrench on this flat right here. What I like to do is roll the camshaft back and forth and watch for that sprocket to move, because what will happen is the pin will shear off inside these phasers. GM is not the only one that does this. And initially, I was able to move this cam back and forth without the chain moving. And then when I rolled the engine over a few times, I heard a click, and I heard that pin, that lock park pin, shoot back in, and now these two are locked up again. So there's an oiling issue. I haven't pulled out these actuators yet to see whether or not the screens are plugged up on them with a bunch of garbage. I didn't really see any metal in the oil, so that's a good sign. If I can see it in there, this is the cam drive right here, focus. This is the triangular piece I was talking about that drives the high pressure fuel pump, and it appears to be in pretty good shape. So whatever that noise was not coming from here. And if it was, I would also expect to see a whole bunch of metal in the oil, and it's not glittery. Everything looks pretty clean in here. I mean, as clean as the average car would be. It's not the cleanest one I've seen yet, but so yeah, I think the noise was actually coming from the exhaust camshaft actuator, this guy back here. Pretty sure that's where the noise was coming from. So I'm going to go ahead and just do a normal timing chain setup. When I get the timing chains off, I'll roll the engine to where all the pistons are kind of like in the middle of the cylinder stroke. So that way I can actually move these valves around again without risking bending anything. And I'll do another leak down test once I get to that point, just to make sure I don't have a bent valve. If I have a bent valve, then I'm pulling ahead. But I'm not really suspicious of that at this point. So I don't think I have a bent valve. We'll see. All right, I got the timing chains pulled off this thing. Pretty straightforward process, nothing crazy to it. See there, got the phasers off as well. I'm doing a leak down test. I decided to go ahead and do this. Always a good idea. Currently, I've got 100% leakage. Watch this gauge right here. Got 100% leakage. Just want to get that to focus. Get more light here. There, is that better? So I'm going to roll this camshaft just a little bit. The exhaust camshaft's hanging open just a smidge. And as I bring that cam to the close position, you can see that this cylinder is in excellent shape. Essentially what you're doing is just pumping air from the shop into the cylinder, and after doing that, you're checking to see whether or not the cylinder can hold back the air. There are specific setup instructions for these. There's also more than one way to kill your neighbor's cat, and I've kind of just come up with my own way of doing things. All right, I got this one back together. Timing chains are complete. Got all the oil in it, changed the oil. Let's go ahead and try to fire this thing up. Let's see if that noise is still there. I'm not sure if it's going to be or not. I hope not. Remember, we had fuel pressure codes as well. So I'm hoping if there is a fuel pressure issue still, at least now, hopefully I remedied the engine issue as far as, oh, look at that, it's a crack in the windshield. I don't know if you guys can see that on screen. Right there, a little tiny chip. It's okay. I've got a repair kit for that. I'm hoping now that the timing chain issue is resolved. I'll be able to at least run the engine. Hopefully that noise is gone. It's not there anymore, that horrible clatter on startup. And if it is, then I can drive the car and follow normal diag for whatever that fuel pressure code is. I don't know if it's possible that timing chain codes can cause that high pressure code. And again, I'm not sure who else had their hands in this thing before I got a hold of it. So it's possible that code was set by somebody else, just doing diag, unplugging stuff. I'm not sure. Let's go ahead and give it a start. 133,000 miles. All right, that sounds pretty good so far. I've got AC on. Let's turn that off. Let's give it a little RPM. That's good. All right, cool. I think I got the noise issue fixed. Like I said, I was pretty sure it was that phaser clattering like that. The timing chain was actually not as stretched as some of the other ones I've done in the past. It did not take out the guides, and it didn't take out like the bolts or anything. You know, sometimes they shave the bolts off some of those guides as well. But yeah, I think that one's good, guys. Go ahead and give me a comment, like, subscribe if you like the content. I'll do more of these "Why Did I Buy This" episodes as I haul these junk cars in from the auction for fix and flips. I'm gonna let this thing run for a few minutes. Let it get up to operating temperature. But yeah, it's kind of the breakdown money-wise on this GMC Terrain. I've got about $2,000 in it as I sit, a little less. Retail value is somewhere, I mean, I saw 10 to 11 grand. I think that's pretty high. I'm guessing this one's going to go for around 8,000 bucks, hopefully. So we'll go ahead and drive it out, do some more repairs if it needs anything else. But that's it for the timing chain job. The noise is gone. Take care.